Good evening, my friends. I come before you today with my own reflections on Canada, which I think we should be considering in this and future elections. I think many of us would agree that in this age Canada is in trouble. What kind of trouble? Well, it's become clear to me in the last while that the only two parties that have ever held the status of elected government of this country are more the cause of this trouble than the solution to it. They're like a pair of tag team wrestlers or a couple of football players on the same team running down the field, passing the ball back and forth to each other, and wearing different jerseys to confuse everybody about their motives. The people who benefit from these actions of these two parties are those who are rich and powerful. They gain more wealth and power for themselves by getting these parties to act in their own interests. They're like the Coke and Pepsi of politics. They use their perceived battle with each other to appeal to our natural instinctive desire to take sides in a battle. And then between the two of them, they gain far more support for themselves together than either of them would have by themselves. Meanwhile, they're slowly poisoning us from the inside out. Then there's the NDP. I believe that they're capable of great things, but they are frozen by their own bureaucracy as well. Just like the Liberals and Conservatives, there are many individuals in the NDP who have wonderful aspirations of turning Canada into a place where Canadians are treated fairly, but they can't speak their minds without being threatened by some person who's in charge of a powerful union. If the Liberals and Conservatives are Pepsi and Coke, then the NDP is a sparkling lime drink. They claim that just because they're not as bad for you as the acidic, fizzy syrup in the colas, they're the right drink for you, when in fact all they are is a glass of fizzy water with a bunch of sugar in it, which gives you a rush for a little while and then leaves your immune system and blood stream drained of energy and vitality. I've been a great fan of the Green Party for many years, but they've moved past their grassroots stage. They've begun to structure themselves. They've begun the inevitable corruption that takes place in a political party in Canada due to the system that we live under. Don't get me wrong, the monarchy that came before Canadian Parliament was far less fair and more oppressive than the democratic ideals that Canada has tried to represent. But saying that this democracy we call Canada is great, just because it's not as bad as the monarchy that came before it, is like saying you have a really good friend that kicks you in the shins every day, that you really love because your last good friend used to punch you in the head every day. The fact is, you're still getting kicked in the shins. And the Green Party is joining in the shin kicking that Canadian political parties do to Canadians. They'll tell you that they don't approve of the carbon taxes being put in place because it taxes us, the people of Canada, while refusing to tax the people who are the greatest cause of the destruction of our environment, the greedy, powerful chiefs of corporations that want more money and more power. Yeah, the Green Party, they'll tell you that they disapprove of this kind of tax right now, but as soon as they're elected, they'll do the same thing and just get more crafty about hiding it from you. They claim to be the healthy, vital energy drink that can enrich your body's functioning and improve your immune system, when all they are is a glass of tap water. I'm a member of the Canadian Action Party. I have a lot to live up to, given the accusations I've just made, and also given that a party that defines themselves by the word action has given me the charge of representing them in this election. I don't believe that sending people with guns and bombs and killing machines around the world to kill people, that someone claims are the cause of all our problems, is going to do us any good. I believe that we're told this will protect us by people who don't really care about protecting us. The good women and men that travel around the world with the Canadian military are cruelly, callously deceived into thinking that they are fighting for us, when in fact they're actually having their lives endangered and often taken away just to protect the interests of the wealthy, powerful people that are in control of Canada. They aren't in Afghanistan to protect us from terrorists. That's a lie. They are there to build a pipeline for oil. I don't believe we need to accept the slow destruction of our medical system. We have everything we need in this country to care for each other and look after our health. But that's also being taken away by those who want to make lots and lots of money by exploiting our fear of being sick. We can fix this problem, but we don't do it by giving more of our money, our efforts, our hearts, our time, and our energy to corporations. Is there a solution to the dangers facing Canada today? Well, there's never a guaranteed solution to any problem. That's life. And I can make all sorts of promises right now based on my personal conviction and the grassroots nature of my party. But in the end, once the party starts to gain power, you may find the same corruption and inaction that any other party ends up producing after being diluted by the power structure that Canada is being held hostage by. So what do I mean when I say the word action to you? I want to change our electoral system so that the power is held by you, the voters, not by the rich and powerful. I want to bring you a system of ongoing democracy where you are in control of your government every day of the year instead of only once every 4 years. I want to make our government accountable to us. I want to make sure that on the day you realize that your government has begun going back on their promises to you, you can remove your support from them right now instead of having to wait 3 years until the next election. My friends, a lot can happen in 3 years. The system I'm proposing to put in place in Canadian politics will take away your need to wait when you feel you are being treated unfairly. When you want to see action, you can demand action right away. Your vote is a precious thing in a world that demands you choose somebody to be governed by. If you really feel that being offered the opportunity to vote once every 4 years gives you the power and control that you deserve, then you are allowing yourself to be deceived. You deserve more than that, and I believe I'm capable of giving it to you. The system of elections that I'm prepared to put in place as soon as I'm elected into power will give you more than that. It's a simple system. It's easy to do. All that needs to happen is for me to be elected, and then you will have a new right that you've never been offered before, the right to change your vote at any time that you feel it is necessary. Not when somebody else tells you that it's time for you to get your 2 seconds of glory, but when you want to. Once this system is in place, then I will be responsible to you. I must listen to you. You are my employer. You pay my salary with your taxes, and you choose who to hire for the job with your vote. When I'm not doing my job, you can let me go and find somebody else to do the job, just like any other person that works for a living. And when you do, I can assure you, I'll find other work for myself. So there won't be any grudges held in either direction. The truth is, I don't want to be looked after unless I know that every other person whose care I'm charged with by the position that you've given me is looked after just as well, with just as much care, with just as much concern and compassion. There's just one thing that I must demand of you. If I'm elected, and I make good on my promise to give you the power of ongoing democracy in your vote, then from that time on, if you feel as though you want to withdraw your support from myself and give it to somebody else, you're quite justified in doing so at any time of your choosing. However, please make sure that anybody else that you choose to elect into a position of power after me is willing to honor the new power that you have been given as a voter. Don't let them take this right away from you ever again. By claiming this new right for yourself, you are demonstrating that you trust yourself. You believe in yourself. You may make mistakes, but there's no reason to think you'll make any more than any other person. The beauty of this system is that when you realize you've made a mistake in trusting somebody, you can fix that mistake immediately, without having to wait 3 long years while they take your money and use it to take away your power. If all of your other choices on the ballot seem like a lot of water and malty sugar and toxins, then I'd like you to imagine hiking out to the middle of the woods, many kilometers from civilization, where the trees, the birds, and the sunshine are your only companion. I'd like you to imagine finding a stream running through this forest, clean water purified by the natural processes of the earth. It's been running through this forest for a greater length of time than any of us can imagine, feeding all of the life and vitality that grows there. I'd like you to imagine cupping your hands and taking up a cold, refreshing, beautiful mouthful of that water and feeling the power of the earth rushing into your body as you swallow it down. That's what the Canadian Action Party is to you right now. If you choose to support ongoing democracy, and this system is put in place in Canadian politics, then if civilization threatens to encroach on that pristine stream of water that you're drinking from and toxify it, you can choose to drink from another stream as soon as you smell the industry in the air, instead of being forced to keep drinking from it for 4 more years while the poisons of somebody's factory are entering your body.